Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this week's installment of the Bama Factor with Alex Taylor. I'm your host, as always, Alex Taylor, and a little bit of a rough episode this week. Alabama coming off a very unfortunate and really kind of unforeseen loss um, at Vanderbilt. Definitely one that shocked this host right here. Was not expecting what uh, was really going to be the outcome of that game. I thought this would be one where we came off of a big win, but I've got to be completely honest. I wasn't necessarily um, very confident going into last week. I kept having a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach last week, kind of about this game, and just overall lack of execution. I think just pretty much overlooking. Vanderbilt had everything to play for. They didn't have anything to lose, and I just don't think we took the game as seriously as we needed to. Uh, I've had a lot of people, sending me a lot of things all week, asking me, is it time to hit the panic button? Should we fire KD? Is our defense that bad? And we're going to address a few things in this episode for sure. Um, but overall, I do want to first and foremost give my thoughts um, just about one thing in particular. Um, the response to Kalen DeBoer's loss from our fan base this week has infuriated me. Usually I'm more vibrant on here, but tonight's episode I'm going to be extremely serious because this week is kind of really put me in a really kind of a sore spot with the majority of our fan base because I've just witnessed our fan base just grill our coach all week long, and I knew this was going to happen the first time he lost a game, and I understand that it's to Vanderbilt, a team that shouldn't even ever compete with us, a team that can't half walk straight, but I'll give them their credit. But again, we should have won the game. Yes, we should have, and that's the bottom line. However, things like this happen, and I knew an overreaction from our fan base was coming. And they're complaining about, well, KD wore a T-shirt on the sidelines. I don't care what he wears. I mean, oh my goodness, like just the nitpicking things, and then you see articles, is he the next Mike Shula? Oh my gosh, like complete overreaction to a loss, and people saying, oh, we're going to lose 4 or 5 more ball games this year, um, and 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 then you just. And then people saying, "Oh, I'm not watching this team anymore. Oh, we're sunk." The culture's just absolutely terrible. Um, and I don't agree with that whatsoever. Um, but just kind of wanted to get that off of my chest. So overall, just not really pleased with our fan base this week at all. And I just hope that our fan base can continue to do better because we need to, and we need to stay behind our coach. But the first thing I do want to address, some of the positives from this game in this past week. Jalen Milroe, his continued progression. When you look at Jalen and, you look at the game that he had Saturday, yeah, he had kind of 2 unfortunate errors. The pick six, don't necessarily deem his fault. I think he put the ball in the right place. It was just a good play by the defender. The ball happened to get tipped up extremely high, and, a guy caught it on the run. So, and then, the strip sack, you can put that on, a couple guys, but, at the end of the day, you do have to execute. But, as far as, the intermediate throws and the intermediate passing game and how comfortable he is in that passing game, he's I think he's improved a lot. I think you see the confidence, you see his progression. You see him going through his progressions. Hit a lot of quick routes on Saturday that I was impressed with. Um, Really on target throws as well, playing with a lot of confidence, and I think he really has turned a corner. And I think you're going to continue to see that high level of play from him. I think this offense is good for him. I think, you know, I think Kalen DeBoer and Nick Sheridan is really kind of fine tuning some things that had to be from a year ago, and they're capitalizing on his strengths. So I like where we're at offensively. We scored 35 points, only possessing the ball for 16 minutes. And, that's, I think, incredibly elite. And, the fact is that you're going to have to score 40-plus points to beat Alabama this year. And so far that's been true. And because, we have scored over 40 in every game except for this past game. And I think that, we had other opportunities to potentially score, really forgetting, the pick six and the strip sack. But other than that, Jalen, I'm extremely impressed with him, and I think he's going to have a good rest of the season as well. Sticking with the offense, you can't really go without saying, Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams is absolutely fantastic. And also his play so far, 5 games in, has earned him a spot on the Biletnikoff watch list, which goes to the most outstanding receiver in college football. And the fact that he is on that and kind of leading that already as a 17-year-old is impressive. You look at the way he controls his body. You look at the way of just how athletic he is. And I heard somebody earlier this week say, he's the most graceful athlete they've seen in 20 years. And that's true. Just the way he runs, his routes, they're very clean, they're very crisp. His speed after the catch, and just the way that, I describe him as an acrobat. I think he's very acrobatic. And I think that's something that, teams are going to have to respect about him. He can go up and he can get the 50-50 balls if he wants to. He can go up and he can, play the ball. He can play the guy too. So, overall, getting that nod for that watch list this early in your career, I think is extremely impressive. And I hope that he continues to have the success that he has. So now I want to get to really the biggest thing and probably the biggest point of this whole episode, and it is the concern of the defense. The defense, really since the Georgia game, the second half of the Georgia game, just the yards they've surrendered, the points they've surrendered, they just haven't looked the same since then. And a lot of that, you do have to credit Vanderbilt, for getting us out of line on personnel. We didn't do a really good job of matching personnel in the game Saturday. It seems like we were very much on our heels a lot. We were late getting play calls, as Malachi Moore has attributed to. But I think this comes down to two things. I think Kane Womack, first and foremost, has got to, he's got to make adjustments. He's got to make sure in game, personnel wise, that we're lined up right. But I think a little more too. Kane's kind of always had a little bit of a different play calling style. He's been a head coach the last couple of years, and now he's coming to a team of where you don't have to compensate for any talent or speed. You have 4 and 5 stars all around you. You have elite future NFL talent all around you. And I think he kind of needs to potentially, in my opinion, trust the guys a little bit more. Trust that these elite players are going to go make plays, and, but get them lined up in the right spots. Because, I think, when you have a guy like Malachi and you have a guy like Deontay, and then you have guys on the front like, Tim Keenan and Tim Smith, and then you got other guys like Jahad Campbell and Quindarius Robinson. You can get guys lined up. And, that's why they're saying, if you give us the call quicker, we're going to be able to get our guys lined up. We're going to be able to basically match their personnel. And I think that's where Kane kind of has to relinquish a little bit of control to the players. Kevin Steele, he did that. Jeremy Pruitt, he did that. Kirby Smart, he did that. He was the coordinator and he was still their coach, but he he let the players run the defense. And, I think that's kind of what Kane needs to do. I think this scheme can work. I just think, obviously there are going to be some growing pains, against a triple option offense. It's very hard to stop a triple option offense. That's one of the most consistent offenses that has stood the test of time. And if you have a quarterback and a tailback who can really run it and run it effectively, and you've got a good coordinator who can call the plays effectively, it's a hard offense to stop. If you go back to 2011, Alabama and Georgia Southern racked up, almost 400 yards rushing that day on a defense in 2011 that was probably one of the most dominant ones that we've seen probably in college football history, not just Alabama history alone. But I think the defense, it also came down to execution. That was my second thing. Execution. There were several times that we had them tackled in the backfield. We did not wrap up. There were several times we took a lot of bad angles. Several times that, we kind of bit on, some inside fakes or weren't filling our gaps correctly. Lack of communication. Those are things that have to be corrected. And I think they will be corrected. When you have leaders like we do, I don't think they're going to go, uncorrected or anything like that. I think, these will be corrected. These will be addressed. And I think that's kind of what they kind of got to this week in practice. And I think they will continue to as well. So I've also had a couple people ask me some questions, looking ahead and, my response for that. Looking ahead, I'm still very optimistic about this team. I'm not giving up on this team by any means. I love this team. Coach KD still believe he's the right guy for the job. I don't care what he wears. I don't care if he wears a t-shirt. I don't care if he wears a tank top. I don't care if he comes out there in his underwear. He can wear whatever he wants. In my opinion, the offense is there. They just got to help out the defense a bit. And I think if the defense can really get it together and start playing as a unit, how we did the first half of the Georgia game, we'll be just fine. We have the players on that side of the ball. And we have the elite athletes on that side of the ball and the elite athletic ability and talent on that side of the ball. We just have to execute it. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to execution overall. And I do have a message to all the so-called fans of our team. And I'm really going to call a lot of you a bandwagon, because a lot of you people hopped on this, when we got good, hopped on this when we were winning championships and winning 3 out of 4. And when we lose, and you did this in the Saban era, it's not just now. All y'all really did this in the Saban era as well. You would constantly bash our team, and you would say how terrible we were, how we needed to fire Saban, and how Saban should never lose a game, and you started saying, Saban pays these guys way too much to do this. And yeah, I get it's frustrating sometimes, but you after Saban people got spoiled, because y'all don't know what it's like to go through adversity. You don't know what it's like to deal with a losing season or anywhere close to a losing season. And I'm upset too that we lost this past Saturday, and I'm frustrated to who it was too, and I'm extremely frustrated, but you can channel your frustration without overreacting. Like, you can express your frustration, without overreacting. And, a lot of you people said, our season's done, we're losing 4 more games, and, at this rate, Auburn will beat us. You could be Auburn right now. You could be in Auburn's situation. You could be in Florida State's situation right now. And I saw someone said we should have hired Mike Norvell. I'm like, are you serious? You want a coach who's 1-5 right now, and whose program is literally in the dump, and who has a serious culture problem? Well, if you fully want that, then, you go right ahead and go cheer them on. But that's just my overall message to any of the bandwagon fans. If you've been really bashing us this week and you said you're not going to watch us, you're not going to support us anymore, then don't. Go cheer on Auburn, go cheer LSU, go cheer Jack State, go cheer, Alabama School of the Deaf and Blind. I don't care. I'm going to be screaming Roll Tide until I die. I don't care if we go 0-12. I don't care if we go 12-0. I'm going to be screaming Roll Tide till I die. I'm 100% behind this team. These guys are going to respond. I know that they will. There's a standard to uphold, and they're going to uphold it. But if we start performing well again, y'all don't come back. I don't want to see y'all on Twitter, saying, "Oh yeah, I always believed in our team. Oh yeah, I knew they'd do good. I knew they'd turn a corner." Because if you do that, I am going to call you out. I will call you out. Because that's honestly just ridiculous. Now, I know I can get frustrated in the game when we aren't playing well and when we don't perform well, but I'm still always going to be 100% behind them. I don't care if we lose 4 more games this year. I mean, I will care, but that's not going to change my love and my support of my team. Uh, and I'm always going to, be roll tide until I die. So, just a little message to all you so called fans of our team as well. So now, just kind of looking ahead as we close out the episode to South Carolina. South Carolina comes off a loss to Ole Miss. South Carolina's been an interesting team this year. Shane Beamer comes in, kind of what I really kind of believed on the hot seat this year after last year's performance. And, you look at Shane, Shane's had his ups and downs at Carolina. You go back to 2022, he beats Tennessee, he beats Clemson, and then you go last year, he really struggles with Spencer Rattler, and, the offensive line really struggled. But, this year he seems to have, a really steady quarterback in Ladora Sellers. You landed a great running back out of the portal in Rocket Sanders. You have a good wide receiver in Neighbors. And then on the other side, you have probably one of the best freshman edge rushers in the country in Dylan Stewart. The guy is just insanely talented. The guy can really get in the backfield. He can wreak havoc. Reminds me a lot of Will Anderson. And that's going to be a challenge for the Alabama offensive line this Saturday for sure. And, Sellers is a good quarterback. He's quick. He's fast. And I think when you really look at it, it's absolutely insane when you look at a guy like him. And, South Carolina, like I said, they kind of been Jekyll and Hyde this year. You want to make sure that, you do take this game seriously. But, this game is in Tuscaloosa. I think Alabama is going to bounce back. I think this is going to be, a game of where, Alabama, I think they're mad. I think, they want to come out and prove, say, hey, last week was not our best, but we want to get back to our best. And I think they're going to. I don't see any doubt at all in this team. I think that they need to come out. I think they need to put on a show. I think they need to put up as many points as they can. I think the defense needs to really have a performance. I think this is kind of that game of where the defense needs to have a performance. And I think they will. I'm excited about it. I'm going to go with my prediction. I'm going to go around, potentially, I'm going to go around, a 38 to 17 game. I do think South Carolina will score, but, I think a 38-17 will be sufficient, and then we'll get ready for the Tennessee week. But other than that, guys, thank you for joining the episode tonight. Y'all be sure to check me out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Y'all be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're growing. Y'all be sure to keep following the Instagram page. We're also growing there. Over 21,300 followers now, and growing each and every day. Love you guys. Love your support. Y'all have a great college football Saturday. Good night. God bless. And Roll Tide.